Chris Galzo here with
Babadook.
And this week on The First Run, we watched the Australian horror film, The Babadook. The story of a woman at the end of her rope, with a troublesome child, and then the boogeyman decides to show up to town too. What an ass. We'll review the big releases on Blu-ray and DVD, featuring Dave's streaming pick of the week, and tell you what you should be streaming this weekend. Then in celebration of the holidays, Dave, we're going to tell everybody what movies you should not watch with your family. We got a bunch of good stuff for that. I can't wait to dive into that list. But before all of that awesome sauce, I hate when people say that. All right, well, let's hear a clip from Babadook.
If it's in a word or it's in a look, you can't get rid of the Babadook. A rumbling sound, then 3 sharp knocks. That's when you'll know that he's around. You'll see him if you look.
Babadook, dook, dook. He wants to scare you first. Then you'll see it.
This monster thing has got to stop.
You can't get rid of the Babadook.
You can bring me the boy. You can bring me the boy. You can bring me the boy.
You can't get rid of the Babadook.
So Dave, this week we're talking about The Babadook. It's an Australian horror film just out this year, written and directed by Jennifer Kent, based on a short film called Monster. It's a story of a young single mother, well, I guess we should say widowed mother now. She's on the way to the hospital, right? And she gets in an accident and her husband dies. Now it's just her and her son as she struggles to raise him, who the kid's a little off. He's maybe a little problem child, but I think the core of the problem is that she resents him. And at times perhaps almost wishes maybe that her husband survived and the kid didn't make it. So it's a really interesting family drama that you then insert a horror film into with The Babadook, an Australian basically boogeyman. Dave, this film has gotten rave reviews, currently on Rotten Tomatoes at 98%, which you don't see for horror films. People have said it's really a great mash of horror and heartfelt drama. What is your opinion, Dave? Do you agree with that analyzation?
Sure. I didn't get so much of the family drama. There was some there. I thought it was a nice mix. It was not something you see every day in a horror movie. It was still absolutely terrifying, and therefore I hated it. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely a different mix of genres that I guess you don't see every day.
Yeah, I think why the movie, I agree with you. I think it's terrifying at times. And I watched this last night. It's available right now on demand. I watched it via iTunes, and I had it, since it was late at night, I had my headphones on, which really magnified the terror for me. So I have the surround sound on, and so I hear the Babadook voices like around me. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm telling you, the hairs in my arms were up. I was getting chills. It's that effective. The atmosphere.
The sound design is perfect.
Oh, it is. It's and this film's all about atmosphere. It's not about gore. It's not about jump effects, which I was so happy about. At no point does a cat jump out at you from a closet. So I think what makes the film so effective for me is what the Babadook really represents. I think the key to this film is what the movie is about. There's different ways to interpret what the horror of this film really is. Is there a supernatural boogeyman? Is this all in Amelia, played by Essie Davis? Is this all in her head? And is this all about the hate that she has? And then is this really an exercise in her grief, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I think it's exceptionally well done. I felt the shots when they're in the house too, Dave, are particularly claustrophobic and unsettling. The way that the director shoots her and the kid. The kid is genuinely weird and creepy too.
Yeah, the kid is just creepy on his own.
And I think what's really interesting too is I think they do a great job with Essie Davis. Her performance is fantastic because you feel bad for her. Sometimes you're like, man, I don't think she's that good a person.
No.
And then you don't trust her. But then maybe she, there's a lot going on with her character that I don't really want to get into too much. Just that it's a really strong performance, especially for a horror film.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. The movie was terrifying, though, and I'll never watch it again. It was awfully terrifying.
It is good.
Go ahead. It was a great movie, right? Like I've said this to you before about horror movies that I can respect this movie. I understand that it's a good movie, but I would have been a happier person if I never saw it.
I don't know what it is about horror films. I love them so much. I don't know if it's the adrenaline rush. I don't know what it is, but this film really just nails it. It's just step after step. It's unnerving and it's heartfelt all at the same time, and I think that's why it's as successful as it is, and it doesn't rely on cheap scares.
I enjoy that too. You mentioned that is that there are no jump scares in this. This is really a psychological kind of horror movie. Like you are really in fear of what's going to happen to these people, and it is effective.
Yeah, it's really worth checking out. That's what I have to say too. I mean, there's the thing about horror films. Even when they're this good, there's really only so much you can really say about them.
Well, I've got a ton of stuff I'd love to discuss about this movie, but it's so spoiler ridden.
Yeah,
and I'd hate to give away anything about what takes place during the movie, because I feel like if you're interested in this movie, you should definitely see it. But you don't want somebody to ruin it for you.
That's true. I think that's fair. I think that's definitely how we should handle it then. And I would recommend, too, if you can, watch it with surround sound headphones by yourself in the dark at like 11 o'clock at night.
I disagree. I would watch this on your iPhone while you're multitasking so you can look away during the scary parts.
In the middle of the day.
Yeah. Preferably in like a train station. A very busy one.
With easy access to all the exits.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a chance to see this in the theater, I think it might be playing locally in some of the bigger cities like New York and LA. Definitely check it out. It's about $8, I think, on iTunes. If you like horror at all, especially with a lot of the crap that we get here domestically, you really should check this one out. There's not a lot of blood. There's not a lot of gore, if any. There's like maybe one scene, right? And even then, it's not particularly brutal or bloody.
No.
But it is terrifying. So you definitely should check it out. I'm glad you agree.
I totally agree.
If you had a chance to see the Babadook, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Dave, a couple things coming up on Blu-ray and DVD next week. Not a huge week, so I'm sure you'll be very excited about that. But there is one huge release getting its physical copy release. You talked a little bit about it last week. So let's hear a clip from possibly Dave's favorite movie of the year.
I'm a warrior and an assassin. I do not dance.
Really? Well, on my planet, there's a legend about people like you. It's called Footloose. And in it, a great hero named Kevin Bacon. He teaches an entire city full of people with sticks up their butts that dancing, well, it's the greatest thing there is.
Who put the sticks up their butts?
What? No, that's just
That is cruel.
just a phrase.
Dave, that's a clip from Guardians of the Galaxy, a movie you've watched, 5-6 times at this point?
Yeah, it's been quite a few times.
It's getting its actual hard copy release this week, but as part of the Blu-ray DVD Picks segment, Dave, usually we get sponsors, and I'm glad to say we have a new sponsor this week.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cocaine.
Oh, great.
Yep. So it's the copy is it's the holidays, so let's all make it a white Christmas with a few bumps. Santa's Snow premium brand cocaine, which you can get at most of your fine retailers.
Really?
All right, so this is what's coming up on December 9th. I don't endorse the use of cocaine, but if you got a lot of projects to get done and not a lot of time.
If you're into cocaine, Santa Snow cocaine is the way to go.
Exactly. So Guardians of the Galaxy includes a 3D Blu-ray digital copy. There's just a standalone Blu-ray version. And if you get it from Best Buy, Dave, you get it in the cool steel book that is actually shaped like the Walkman that Peter Quill has.
Oh, shit. Really?
Yeah, now are you gritting yourself now? Wish you waited for the hard copy?
God damn it.
If you buy it from Walmart, they have a bunch of different covers. You can choose from Star-Lord, Gamora, Rocket, Groot, or Drax. And if you buy it from Target, you get exclusive digital content. So it's not a physical disc. It's stuff you can watch online and download. And I should say, too, that Best Buy Steelbook and the Target exclusive are both 3D exclusive, though. You can't get the standalone Blu-ray with that. So I don't know if that helps you feel any better, Dave.
Yes, it does.
Includes audio commentary, never before seen deleted scenes, a gag reel. Dave, did you get deleted scenes and a gag reel on your digital download?
Indeed, as well as like a couple of other like making of kind of stuff.
Nice. It also includes an exclusive look at Marvel's The Avengers: The Age of Ultron. Dave, a film we wanted to catch up with, we didn't get a chance to. Hopefully now we can. Starring Michael Fassbender. Remember the movie Frank? It's that weird comedy about the young musician guy who wears the big head.
Yeah.
Well, that's getting released on Blu-ray. Includes a behind-the-scenes making-of featurette. Brendan Gleeson is back in Calvary. Did you see The Crossing? Not The Crossing Guard. Shoot. What's the name of it? It's the one with Don Cheadle and Brendan Gleeson, where he goes to Ireland and solves a crime. It's really funny and inappropriate at the same time.
Missed it.
Fair enough. Well, they're back together again. Gleeson and the director, who of course I can't name at the moment, in Calvary. Includes a Blu-ray digital copy, ultraviolet stream. I wanted to check this one out, so I'm glad I can catch up with that. Dave, did you ever see Dead Snow, the Nazi zombie movie?
No, but I want to. It's one of those ones that the description just keeps me interested.
It was on Netflix for a long time, might still be, but now's your chance to catch up with the sequel, Dead Snow 2, Red vs. Dead, which is when the Nazis fight the Russians. I think the correct pronunciation, too, because it's, Swedish, is Dead Snow 2. So that's coming out in audio commentary by the director and writer. Fox Searchlight is releasing a 20th anniversary box set, Dave. Includes 127 Hours, 28 Days Later, 500 Days of Summer, Beast of the Southern Wild, Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, Black Swan, Boys Don't Cry, The Brothers McMullen, Crazy Heart, The Descendants, The Full Monty, Garden State, Juno, The Last King of Scotland, Little Miss Sunshine, Napoleon Dynamite, Once, Sideways, Slumdog Millionaire, and 12 Years a Slave. That is quite a lineup. The thing is, who doesn't have a few of those already?
How much is it?
That's a great question, Dave. I'll get back to you on that. Time Bandits is being released by Criterion on Blu-ray. The classic Terry Gilliam film includes a Blu-ray DVD and a whole bunch of special features, including a commentary featuring Gilliam, as well as Michael Palin, John Cleese, David Warner, and Craig Warnock, and a bunch of other stuff. And Criterion is also giving us The Night Porter. Includes a Blu-ray DVD, as well as a 2K digital restoration, and some behind-the-scenes featurettes. They're also giving us Safe, the breakout performance film for Julianne Moore, finally released on Blu-ray. And then finally, Dave, your straight-to-DVD pick of the week from me, Mother's Milk. Claude is an easily overlooked statistics professor. After childhood trauma left him motherless, he formed a dysfunctional craving. I think you know where I'm going.
Oh, God.
To satisfy the depraved hunger, he kidnaps Kim from the park and holds her captive in his basement. As the days pass and Claude's truths are revealed, her fear slowly turns to comfort and compassion. Or does it? That's Mother's Milk. Dave, do you have a streaming pick of the week for us?
I do. And let me wash the taste of that one out of your mouth with a classic movie starring Paul Newman.
I see what you did there.
Paul Newman stars as a pool shark, Fast Eddie Felson, who tours the country hustling games, even challenging reigning champion Minnesota Fats in this brooding drama that explores the synergies between good and evil, love and desperation. This movie is called The Hustler. It came out in 1961. It is now available on Netflix, and you have to see it. It's awesome.
It is a classic film, Dave. That's a great pick. Just so you know, too,
really is good.
In case you wanted to add it to your Christmas list, this would have been a good thing for the holiday gift guide if I'd known it was coming. Fox Searchlight set, Dave, on Amazon, retailing for $124 right now, an MSRP of $300. But you can get it right now for almost 60% off if you buy it from Amazon today.
That's a lot of money, but it's a lot of really good movies, too.
It is. So that's what's coming up on Blu-ray and DVD this upcoming Tuesday, December 9th. And remember, try only Santa's Snow premium brand cocaine. We're going to take a break, come back, and Dave and I are going to fill you in on what movies you need to desperately avoid when visiting with the family this weekend. Because you know what's going to happen. You're sitting around, right? You're sitting around the tree or the whatever else you got going on. Clearly, I'm the white Anglo-Saxon Christian Christmas celebrating guy. But then you're going through, what's on TV? What's going on? What's on the movie channel? So, well, these are the movies you're going to avoid.
Oh, it's so hot.
What's wrong?
Well, they teach us young things not to drink anything we haven't mixed ourselves, so...
Smart. Come back in the kitchen. I'll pour it again.
No. Come on. I could make up something more entertaining than that. Oh. Healthy dude, huh?
I try. Figure I'll live as long as I can.
Living longer's overrated.
Well, you don't want to reach a ripe old age?
For what? When I'm 80? What do I do for fun?
When you're 80, I'll be 98.
Right. Useless to me.
What use do you have in mind for me?
So, Dave, that was a clip from the disturbing and yet oddly watchable Hard Candy. Did you ever see that film?
No, I missed it.
Patrick Wilson, Ellen Page. Patrick Wilson plays
yeah, I did see that.
the creepy guy who meets the online friend that he made, and she's young. It's a disturbing little film.
Yeah, you don't want to talk about any part of the plot of that movie.
No.
You just want to go into that one blind.
Yes. But, yeah, so that's Hard Candy, a movie you do not want to watch with the grandparents or the parents these upcoming holidays. At least you don't want them to know what you're into. So, Dave, now we're going to go. I think I started last week, so why don't you start us off? What film should we not watch with the folks?
So, you say folks, when I think of family, I immediately go to kids. And
Okay.
I really wanted to put Babadook on this list. We kind of have a standing policy not to put like this week's film on like our top 5 list that we make for the week, because a lot of times it's kind of inspired by the top 5 list is inspired by the movie we're watching.
Exactly.
So I left it off, but I really wanted to put it on this week because you don't want your kids anywhere near that movie.
I would think too, maybe something like an orphanage as a horror film, because all it is creepy kids in that one.
Yeah. Then you're just gonna be scared of your kids, though.
That's true.
This one's gonna make the kids scared of you. So, my first pick is gonna be Ted. This is a movie that your kids are gonna desperately want to watch. Your gay father might even come over the house and want to watch it. But there are a ton of jokes that you don't want any of those two groups to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Your kids are desperately going to watch this because obviously it's got a funny teddy bear, but it is filled with inappropriate jokes. You want to keep them away from this one. And there's quite a bit of really foul gay jokes in this one that you also don't want to be sitting there with your father watching.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, I'd have to say too, my list is kind of movies that sound maybe appealing to a wider audience.
Yeah.
Obviously, right, that do not deserve a wider audience. So my number 5 will be Martin Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street. You're going to give me Scorsese. You're going to give me Leonardo DiCaprio, right? How do I not want to see that? Sure, Goodfellas is a little violent at times. Everybody loved The Departed. But why not start with The Wolf of Wall Street when a movie that opens with Leonardo DiCaprio snorting cocaine out of a girl's ass? That's how the film opens. And now you're going to have 3 hours, basically, of the most debaucherous stuff you'll see on screen.
Yeah, it's good stuff, but you definitely don't want to be watching it with your family.
Now, I told the missus about that, too, because she's like, oh, Leonardo, I want to watch that. I said, yeah, this is how it opens. And she got furious, and that was it. So now she's not going to watch it.
And the worst part is when you laugh at those jokes and like the rest of your family just looks at you in disgust.
Yes. There's a thing. I had a whole conversation last night. So when I go through the show and I find the straight to DVD pick of the week, I go to the digital bits and they have the cover art for every single thing being released on the upcoming Tuesday, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'd say a quarter of it is like softcore porn. At least a quarter of it.
Sure.
So I'm scrolling through and she keeps looking over at what I'm looking at, and it's just picture after picture of like half naked women, or then there's the Boys Gone Wild Part 2. So I have, it's always a fun
There's
time.
Boys Gone Wild. I didn't know that.
I mean, I've heard that. So what do you got?
My next one is going to be Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
What?
You've got to keep your kids away from this movie. In fact, the whole first 3 movies, as hard as you can. You cannot let them watch this because it absolutely ruins the Star Wars experience. As far as they're concerned, your kids only know that there are 3 Star Wars movies made, and they're the good ones. Don't ruin their childhood.
That's true. I don't think you want to introduce the new trilogy to them until they're in their 30s like we were, or late 20s, so that way they're not as disappointed. They can take it a little better.
No, don't ever let them watch it.
Supposedly Topher Grace did like an edit of all 3 films and condensed it into one movie that's actually supposed to be pretty entertaining.
Really?
Yeah, I wonder if it's a way to check that out. But you know what? I think that's a good point there. That's a good choice. My number 4 is Team America World Police. Now, my dad has a penchant for inappropriate humor. He likes Family Guy. He liked The Simpsons for a long time. South Park, I think, is something you can definitely get into. But nothing prepares you for just how inappropriate and raunchy that film is. That puppet lovemaking scene will drive any person over the age of 60, I think, out of the room. And I mean, there's scat. It's so vile and filthy. And the fact that it's puppets is what makes it so funny.
Yeah.
But it's still not something you want to sit around with your family or when he starts defecating on her. I mean, it's not something you want to. No.
Everybody's. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie. I gotta watch it again.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix too. So
is it?
Yeah.
All right. My next one is Big Fat Liar or any movie with Frankie Muniz. Do I really need to explain this, or
I haven't seen any of Muniz's oeuvre. So
this little bastard can take a perfectly sweet child and turn him into a back-talking, holier-than-thou, smart-ass kid faster than you could flip a coin.
Wow, so it's Muniz's fault, huh?
Absolutely.
All right, good to know. If I ever have kids, I'll make sure they don't see Agent Cody Banks. My number 3 is, all right, well, everybody, listen, Borat is an insanely funny movie with some really disturbing parts in it, right?
Yeah.
The big wrestling scene in the hotel is not something that gets out of your head when he wrestles with his producer or whatever it was. So, but I think it's all right. But the family's all around. They say, oh, I love Sacha Baron Cohen. I really enjoyed Borat. Let's see what Bruno's all about. No. Bruno with that scene with the extravagant sex toy thing. I mean, Bruno has some truly inappropriate moments where, I was almost embarrassed watching some of that stuff by myself. And that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
So that's my number 3 is Bruno.
So a couple of weeks ago, I walked downstairs and I find the whole family watching Bad Grandpa.
How old are those kids again?
They just turned 13 yesterday. Yesterday was their 13th birthday.
Nice.
I quickly grabbed the remote and said, I'm stopping this movie so that you're not forced to see this guy's penis multiple times.
Did the missus not know what the movie was about, or what was it?
Yeah, she didn't know. Know. So, I mean, you talk about obscene comedy. This movie's got it all over it. It's hilarious for me, but it's not appropriate for the rest of the family.
It has probably my favorite poop joke of the past 10 years. So it's one of the few times in the theater I cried. I was laughing so hard. Always a good moment. My number 2, everybody's in love with The Reconnaissance, right? Mud, fantastic film.
Yeah.
Dallas Buyers Club, a powerful film, Oscar-winning performance. So you're all on board. Everybody liked The Lincoln Lawyer. So what else is part of this reconnaissance? Well, there's Killer Joe.
Yeah.
A film that, everybody's in love with McConaughey. Let's check out Killer Joe. There are scenes in Killer Joe. Not only does the film, basically in the first 4 minutes, give you a full frontal shot of Gina Gershon. What's the female version of the buffalo shot? I don't know. But she's naked from the waist down. That's basically how the movie starts. And then it has the most inappropriate use of fried chicken you will ever see in your entire life. It involves a lot of McConaughey nudity at points as well. There is
good stuff,
discussion, and I don't want to say there's no subtlety about it with McConaughey's relationship with, I think, an exceptionally underage woman. There's a lot of disturbing material in this. It's I think a must-see film, but it's not something, like we say, why it's on the list. Not something you watch with mom and dad. Or in your case, Dave, I would suggest not watching that with the kids either.
Yeah, I totally agree. So my last one, my number one, with a bullet, this is by far the movie you definitely do not want to watch with your kids. It's the Pokemon movie. If you get your kids anywhere near the Pokemon movie, prepare to spend thousands of dollars on toys, cards, video games, DVDs for the rest of your life. This is a warning.
I appreciate you doing a public service.
Do not let your kids watch the Pokemon movie.
I'm writing all of these down, Dave. I appreciate it. So hopefully I can remember that someday in the future. My number one is Todd Solondz' Happiness. I don't know if you're familiar with this film, Dave, from 1998. Just when the lives of these family and these people kind of crash together, it's this drama that is so disturbing. But the most disturbing thing in it is Dylan Baker. Dylan Baker, feel free to Google him, Dave, is one of my all-time favorite character actors. And he plays a father who decides to rape little boys. And the most disturbing thing about, basically, near the end of the film is his son is really upset because his father never tried to rape him. Why was he not good enough?
Okay.
Yeah. So this is not a movie you want to watch with the family, anybody. Maybe even you want to skip it. But it is one of the more disturbing films you'll see. There's a weird thing about it where just what Solondz does, it's you can't take your eyes off the screen. It's a moving film, but it's deeply disturbing. It's one of my one-timers. It's something you should see but never watch again. I tried to avoid most of those on my list, but I do have them in my honorable mentions. So that's my number one is Happiness. And it ends I think with a guy, well, you know what? I'm not even going to tell you. It's so disturbing, and it's just I don't want to talk about it. All right. So do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, the Karate Kid. You know how many legs and arms have been broken by doing that little crane move? It's terrible. It's a menace to public safety, and it should never be shown again.
Are you talking about the Will Smith kid one or all of them? Just
did he do it in the Will Smith one? I mean, you just shouldn't watch that movie on principle, but
right. Yeah, I don't know.
But I was really talking about the Ralph Macchio one.
All right. I'm assuming the kid Smith did it. He must have done the crane.
I don't know. That movie was so terrible.
It's so iconic. I haven't seen it. Anything else?
No, that's it.
I had Irreversible, Gaspar Noé's film with Monica Bellucci, where she's raped for 20 minutes on screen.
Whoa.
But it's not something you're going to stumble across and want to watch with the family anyway. You'd have to seek that movie out at this point. Spring Breakers almost made my list. Well, we know, Dave, we're all big fans of Spring Breakers. Steve McQueen's Shame, starring Michael Fassbender. Not a film you'll stumble into either because you know that it's about his sex addiction and everything that goes wrong in his life. Hard Candy, which we heard. Eyes Wide Shut, Stanley Kubrick, right? We're all big Kubrick friends around here. And then Boogie Nights almost made my list as well. But then finally, a movie I haven't seen, I don't think I ever will, is a Serbian film. Even though I'm into some really weird, dark stuff, I just don't have the pull to see that movie. I don't know if I ever will. So that's my list.
I'm surprised neither one of us brought up like Human Centipede.
Yeah, well, 'cause I think that was kind of that's a fairly obvious one.
Yeah.
That's right there in the title. I think that the whole point too is ours are some you could accidentally fall into.
Yeah.
And deeply, deeply regret it.
Big mistakes.
Exactly.
Especially the Pokemon movie.
So if we missed any, I'm sure we did. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Dave, let's take a break, come back, and tell these fine folks what we'll be checking out next week.
My aunt asks, we were at school all day. Got it.
We jumped out a window.
No, quiet.
Shh, we jumped out a window.
You can't say things like that around Aunt Cass.
You home, sweetie?
That's right.
I thought I heard you. Hi.
Hey, Aunt Cass.
Oh, look at my little college man. I can't wait to hear all about it. Oh, and wings are almost ready.
Whee! You be quiet.
Yeah, wings. All right, get ready to have your face melted. We are gonna feel these things tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Okay, sit down. Tell me everything.
So, Dave, that's a clip from Big Hero 6, Disney's big new animated film for the year. Came out actually a few weeks ago, but this week is desolate. There is really nothing else coming out this weekend, so we're going to catch up with that. It's actually part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's a bit of an offshoot, but it is, I believe, technically part of it. So I've been looking forward to this one, too. I'm glad we're going to have time to check it out.
Yeah, my kids want to see this one, too, so I'll bring them. That should be fun.
There you go. So that's the big show for this week. Look us up on Facebook and Twitter. Do a search for The First Run. Always check out the website as well, thefirstrun.com. Shoot me an email at feedback as well. Dave, it's going on in the Briar Rabbit world this week on YouTube.
Destiny. I have become so addicted to Destiny. Did you know that there is a raid in this game that can take anywhere, and you've got to play it with 6 players, 6 cooperative players, and it can take anywhere from an hour to around 8 hours to complete.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I mean, you can stop and start again. You can basically save your game, but you've got to get it complete in a week.
So it's
otherwise it
timed as well.
resets your progress.
You only have a certain amount of time to get it done as well, huh?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun though. I mean, you really got to work together. It's a experience that I've never had in a game before, and I'm really enjoying it.
Interesting. Now, at some point, maybe I'll play it. But it'll be like next year when I end up buying the Uncharted PS4 combo pack, and at that point, nobody will probably be playing it anymore.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing about this game is it's really about the community.
Yeah. Oh well. That's what I get for not being cool. Anyway, so that's a big show for this week. We're going to take an extended break, and we'll see everybody in a week.
See you next week. Don't forget our sponsor.
What's a fake laugh?
It's real.